The image that I'm receiving in my mind is the peace sign, and the turtle dove, right? So interesting, right? And this dove is sitting on top of this peace sign, and then the peace sign comes crashing down to the ground, and then the dove flies away. And now all we have is this sign, this symbol, which was floating in the air at one point, and now it's broken on the ground. And so we have a choice, right? So we have a choice, we have choices. What should we do with this? What should we do with this? Well, we can be distraught and in pain and in agony over something that has broken. It feels broken. And we can continue to stay that way. We can continue to kneel down in front of this broken piece and try to gather all the pieces. And as we gather them, we might get cut, right? Accidentally, we might get cut because it broke, right? It shattered. This piece has shattered. This feeling of peace. So that's one option, right? So there's nothing wrong with that option, right? We can heal if we accidentally get cut, right? We can heal from that. The body heals. And the other option is we just look at it, right? Wow, that was unexpected. All of a sudden, what was up here is now down on the ground, and it's shattered, and now we're just looking at it. Now we're just observing it. We're just observing it with detachment, right? So we're aware. We're aware of it. We're there. We're present. We're aware that this has fallen. We're aware that this has broken. And we watch others. We watch others' reactions. We watch others coming closer. We watch others from afar. It's like we're detaching ourselves from this scenario, even though it affects our lives in a way, but we're not allowing it to affect us personally. Instead, we're just becoming aware of it. And so there's the message, right? If you have not already gathered that, is that the mind is just an observer, right? So we begin to feel the body's feelings and the emotions and the chemicals that we consume and the food and the energies and all these things that are impacting our body and our mind and our mental state and our emotional state. There's so many things that can attack us in a way. There's so many things that can consume us. And we get to feel overwhelmed. We feel sorry for ourselves. We feel chaotic and abrupt and out of control. And then we start to have these visions. And can we handle it? And should we do this? Or is there harm in the way? And all these crazy thoughts. And yet, if we just allow ourselves to just observe these feelings from this higher perspective, from this outside perspective, right? We're removing ourselves, we're observing that we're feeling this way. We're not denying that we're feeling this way. We're just sort of taking ourselves into two different pieces, right? Now, I'm not talking about split personality. And that's a whole different ball game. Instead, I'm talking about removing ourselves from the immediate emotion and detaching ourselves from this shattered peace sign. Because ultimately, that's what we're comprised of, is we are made of pure love, pure peace. And yet all of these things happen And it creates a feeling, it creates a situation, it creates a scenario. And we can be directly involved in it, right? And that's okay too. There's not really a wrong answer here. It's just, it is what it is. It's a way of reacting, it's a way to responding to the situation. So we can be directly part of the situation, part of the occurrence, the breaking, the shattering. And as we're immediately in that scenario, we have a very minute perspective. We have a very shallow is not the right word, a very narrowed perspective on that. Because we're allowing these emotions to override the groundedness, right? Feeling the groundedness, feeling the ultimate love, right? And again, this is not wrong, but eventually we will want to remove ourselves and see things from a higher perspective, from a different perspective. Okay, so now we feel more at ease. It's like watching a movie, right? We can feel the emotions, right? We can feel that. We're human, we're compassionate, we're empathetic. But we're not directly involved in it to the point where it's in a way impacting us so much that we're starting to deplete our own energy. We're starting to drag ourselves down when we're so involved. We're so into it that we can't see beyond. And so when you begin to remove yourself a little bit, to back up, to detach a little bit and see the feelings that you're experiencing or someone else is experiencing, then we have a little bit more control. Then we still feel this direct connection to God consciousness, right? It doesn't mean we don't have compassion or empathy. No, we do. Of course we do. But we also, as we detach ourselves a little bit from the situation, we now have both compassion and groundedness and connection, right? This gives us more opportunity to then observe and heal the situation at the same time, rather than to be so absorbed in the situation that we cannot heal it at the same time because we're so immersed in it. How can we heal when we're so immersed? But if we allow ourselves to step back and just observe, as if it were our favorite movie, right? We can then heal both the situation and ourselves. This feels different because it feels like we are not as connected. It feels like, oh, I should be crying, I should be upset, I should be sad, I should be overwhelmed, I should be stressed, I should be all these things. But we don't have to be so immersed in the emotions that to where the emotions take over our entire state of being. We can instead let our entire state of being observe the emotions. And that is the better way to go if we were to grade, if we were to give each option a grade per se, to detach. Again, this does not mean that you do not care, because of course you care, but it's important to recognize it's like connecting and disconnecting. I've said this before, Tabitha has said this before. Connecting while disconnecting. You're disconnecting and connecting at the same time. So you're still being that channel, that conduit of caring and healing and empathetic feeling, but you're not allowing it to overtake your entire being. Because when you allow the emotion to take over your entire being, you then begin to lose a little bit of control, right? And that's okay too, right? That's okay, because that's an experience and we can learn from that experience, right? We can learn from feeling that way. We know what it feels like to have utter heartbreak. We know what it feels like to lose someone that is a part of our soul, or to feel as though we have lost them. We've lost this physical being. We know those feelings. We know that feeling. And that's okay, because feeling that helps you connect with the human experience. But you don't always have to allow yourself to be so immersed in the emotions that you are feeling out of control. So the next time you feel really stressed out, you feel out of control, and you feel like you're going crazy, and you feel like you don't know what to do, and you feel like you want to cry, you feel like you want to give up, you feel like you want to scream, just notice yourself feeling that and ask to step back. Ask to observe yourself from a different angle, from a different perspective. And that is the message for you today. And so it is.